guys, I wanted to do this face-to-face video because a good hair day is a terrible thing to waste. And also I wanted to talk to you a bit about my upcoming class that hopefully will be released at the end of next week, I want to say. I'm really hoping. I'm working very hard in the limitations that I have, and so I want to tell you about my class. It's called Watercolor Workbook, and it's a beginner's class for watercolor. It's very hands-on, non-academic type of class. Not because I think there's anything wrong with getting academic about painting and, you know, really diving into the theory. I do that myself personally sometimes when I get a chance. But this class was born from kind of two different places, and I really want to share this with you so that you will understand kind of what's it about. And I also plan on doing another video probably in around next weekend or something like this, or the coming weekend. Today is Monday, with more answers to any questions you may have after hearing me talk. And yeah, so please, if you have any questions about the class, things you'd like to know, then that I don't answer in this video, so watch it till the end. Write your questions in the comment section, and I will answer them in another video. Because this class is different from all my previous classes, which were, how messy is my desk? Super messy, huh? Which were all scrapbooking classes, and this one isn't. So that's why I feel it needs a little bit more explaining, because if you've taken one of my classes before, then this is different. And I just want you to know what, I'm sorry, I talk a lot with my hands, try to sit on them. So I want you to know what's in this class, so you can decide better if it's something you're interested in. And if you reached my channel from all my art journaling and watercolor videos and you're completely not interested in scrapbooking, then, you know, my other classes are probably not relevant for you, but maybe this one is. So I wanted to do a watercolor beginners class for two main reasons. And I've been really, I would say, obsessed with watercolors in a serious way in the last 1-2 years, probably 2 years, let's say. And I take a lot of online classes and I watch YouTube, and the two things that kind of rose from all this learning and searching, you know, when you get into a new medium that is new to you, obviously, you're usually at the beginning, at least that's the way it's for me, you're looking, right? You're looking for things you can learn from, you're looking for new techniques, you're looking for how to use this and what other people are doing, and maybe you don't spend so much time actually painting as you should, because that's what makes you feel really good, or at least for me, that's what makes me feel really happy when I actually paint. And so from all this looking around and, you know, wanting to learn and take online classes, I felt that there were like two main groups of videos and classes that I found. One was like, you know, basic techniques for watercolor beginners or beginning with watercolors and all that stuff. There's a ton of really great information out there, don't get me wrong. But I always felt, you know, it was very useful, but it was a lot of time things like doing like different types of washes and And what you end up with, that's how I felt. This is all my personal experience, and I always assume that, you know, if I feel like this, then probably other people discover the same things. Hopefully. I'm not that different from everyone. I want to be a little different, but not completely. So I felt from all these exercises that they were useful if you kind of knew where to take them. So if you're, let's say, I don't know, a landscape artist and you paint landscapes, then you can learn from different washes techniques, how to paint a sky, for example. But if you're not sure what you want to paint and you're still not really good in anything, then you're kind of left with these pages of exercises that, you know, they look like just simple exercise. They look kind of like nothing, and you're not sure what to do with it. So that was one big pot of videos that I found out there. Very educational, but you know, it kind of was like, okay, but what do I do with it next? And then there was the other kind, which was really like more specific workshops and videos on, you know, how to paint roses, or how to paint landscape, or how to paint, I don't know, illustrations like cute little critters or something like that. And there are some amazing videos, and I'm going to do a part of my class at the end of it is I'm going to give you my recommendations for further classes, not by me, by other artists, that I enjoyed. And well, maybe I'll rate the frustration levels, because that brings me to the next point, that a lot of these times, these classes, they can be frustrating. And I think, you know, there's always this I always struggle with myself if I'm good enough to teach something. And I think it's a healthy place to be, you know, to really ask yourself, like, should you be, you know, should people really be paying you for teaching this? And I do think that when I don't have any formal education in arts, so I'm completely self-taught, and I also write about it in my blog, so you can check out my blog for that. But I felt many times when you watch professional watercolor artists that have been painting for 20 years, what seems to them very simple is really, really not. And the natural way that their hand moves and paints things is, you know, a result of 20 years of painting. And I consider myself to, I think I have, you know, I can paint like basic stuff. I have painted as a child and a teenager, not in any structured way, just on my own, all the time. So I do consider my hand somewhat trained in these things, but when I take these classes, I do find myself many, many times very frustrated. And I wanted to help people with that. And another thing that is very difficult for some people at the beginning, that I'm not sure what I want to paint. And sometimes I just really want to paint, but I don't know what I want to paint. So from all these frustrations and questions that I had, this class was born. So this is a beginner's watercolor class. So if you never tried watercolors, I think you will find this class right for you. And if you've dabbled with them a little bit, or you know, you bought a set and you're kind of not sure what to do with it, then I definitely think this class is for you. And what we're going to do is just, in every part of the class, I'm going to show you many really fun ways of playing with watercolors, learning as we go along. So that's my favorite way of learning, you know, learning without feeling that you're learning. Not that there's anything wrong with learning. I've been a student for, I think probably, I don't know, 70% or 80% of my life, and I'm 37 years old. So I have done a lot of learning. But you know, it's more fun to paint. For me at least, it's more fun to paint than to do, I don't know, exercises. And I don't want to use the word exercises because I think that it's suitable to many of the things that we're going to do in the class. But the point is that all these exercises that we're going to do, I build them in a way that you have something pretty at the end. And that was something very important to me. I wanted anyone taking this class to come out with something pretty and beautiful and inspiring to look at. And from there, decide, you know, if you want to pursue, I don't know, landscape painting or florals, or more in the illustration, then you can go either way. And I will give you, as I said, my recommendations of my favorite classes that I've taken in the last years. But if you don't, if you feel like, okay, this is enough for me, then you'll still have something really pretty to look at and be inspired and use as a reference book for other projects. And you can totally use all the techniques that I show in the class, and there are a ton, use them in other projects like backgrounds for scrapbook pages, or kind of a starting point for art journals, card makers, definitely. So the reason I didn't make, you know, scrapbook layouts from the exercises that I show in the class are purely for time reasons. And also I find when I take a class that has a lot of content, I find it hard to keep up, and I like to follow through. I like to watch all the content in a class that I bought with, you know, my hard-earned money. So I also try to keep the amount of content, this was quite hard, to keep it to something that I think is manageable. And yeah, so that's where this class came from. And I'm going to show you, you can kind of make it, tweak it, and make it work for you. I'm going to show you a few ways to build this workbook. If you're not interested in anything like creating your own type of journal or book, even though I show a very simple way, I promise you, there's no stitching or anything involved, just glue and paper. You can totally use a journal. For example, I use also in the class my new Jane Davenport journal, the large one. It has beautiful watercolor paper, and so you can just, you know, get a watercolor journal, and instead of sitting and being scared of it and the blank page and not knowing what to do, you just follow the class, and when you're done with the class, you'll have quite a few pages done, and they will be pretty, and we will learn and have lots of fun. So a few details. The class, the full price of the class will be $45, and I'm going to have it on a special price for the first, I don't know, week or two of once the class is launched. So the special price will probably be $30 something dollars. It'll be a significant discount, but I just have to see how much content I have, because I want it to be fairly priced. A lot of work went into it, and yeah, so I'm trying to figure out the pricing, but it will definitely be a discount. So make sure you follow my YouTube channel or go to my blog and subscribe to my newsletter, and I will put a link in the information box so you don't miss the discounted price and the launch of the class. Supplies for the class: you will need watercolors, and for beginners I recommend a pan set. There are a ton out there, so find something that fits your budget. I start in the first lesson of actual painting, you know, without explaining introductions and that sort of thing. I start with a set that I took from my daughter that we bought for €5, and of course it's not as wonderful as more expensive watercolors, but it will totally do if that's what you have on hand and you're not sure if you want to invest in more expensive watercolors. You can totally use that. So watercolors, a few brushes. Really, you don't need any fancy brushes for this class. Paper, I highly recommend using only watercolor paper. You don't need expensive watercolor paper for the class, but it definitely has to be watercolor paper. Otherwise you will just be frustrated from the results. And water, hopefully you have that around you. And yeah, that's it. I do use like a few, I use stamps in one of the lessons from many, and a few scrapbook papers for my final book, which I will show you. So this is, this is the book that I create in the workshop, and this one is, I created the binding myself, and believe me, it's super easy. I don't do anything complicated. And I show you exactly how to do this. And we also paint the cover together, and lots of fun stuff that are in here. I'll show you a peek, a little sneaky peek. Isn't it pretty? It just makes me so happy to look at it. So I also used like a couple of scrapbook papers here in it to create some pockets, but you can use any type of paper. I created another one from a magazine, not a magazine, an old planner from last year. So just some paper to create some fun pockets in the book. But again, if you're not into doing creating your own, you can use, show you the pretty side, you can use a store-bought journal. And let me show you another sneak peek. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. These are the mermaid markers from Jane Davenport. So I show you a little fun spread that I created with them, but you totally can use your watercolors. It was just something new that I got and I wanted to play, and I thought it would be a fun bonus lesson for the class. So point is, it's very customizable and just a lot of fun. I think I covered the major points. Again, if you have, all the content is video content, high definition. I explain things from start to finish, lots and lots of content, but in a way that you can just, you know, jump right in, take your paints and start painting with me. And please, any questions that you have, post it on this video and I will answer all these questions in another video that I will post in the next days. So I said it in another video, but this is my first class on my own, not on big picture classes and not with the amazing Jen Scow. So I'm very excited, and I hope that you will come along with me on this journey with gorgeous, gorgeous watercolors, because they're just the best. It doesn't get prettier than watercolors. Thanks for watching. Bye.